What's going on, guys? This is the Void King, Michael McCraven here. Today marks the end. A few days ago was the end of the Modern Warfare 2 beta, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching this at least had gotten their hands on it or have watched people play it. I've gotten my hands on it, and it was enjoyable for the first few games. There are games where I absolutely slapped cheeks. But this isn't about the game. This isn't about my thoughts on it. I'll make a separate video on that. But, however, this video is basically as a response to Infinity Ward's response to the criticism regarding the minimap, Dead Silence as a perk rather than a field upgrade, and why I think Infinity Ward didn't learn from its past mistakes or just had too much of an ego to justify changing shit. My main thoughts pertaining to that, to the content, is it's fun. For the first few games and whatnot, it's fun. It doesn't punish me as much as MW 2019 with the slide canceling freaking shit like that. However, again, this isn't, a rant about the game. It's not in depth my thoughts on it. It's more onto the why Infinity Ward thinks that why Infinity Ward says this tripe shit like we don't want to punish our players we don't want to punish players for firing their weapons. Isn't that what suppressors for? Isn't that why most sane, logical people that don't want to be seen on the minimap and die because they've been seen on the minimap have a silencer, have a suppressor? Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that? Look, I've pointed out multiple times why I don't think that would be a good idea for responding to criticism. Because at the end of the day, how are we supposed to really improve the game if you're not willing to listen or change anything to suit the players? The idea that you don't want to punish players for firing their weapons, then why is there suppressors? Then why are there barrels that have built-in suppressors? Is that just a foreign concept to you people? Is that just so mind-numbingly hard to understand that, heaven forbid, we want something like built-in, like a sort of like red dots on mini-maps, visible name plates and shit like that? Like, realism aside, take Battlefield for instance. Those games before 1.5.2042 were as realistic of a mil-sim shooter as they can get. They still have red dots on the minimap. They still have that compass shit. They still have relatively fast kill to time to TTK or time to kill. However, it just, I don't know, it screams to me that either both incompetence or a lack of really giving a shit about your game. When Warzone 2, an interesting side note, Warzone 2 has a functional minimap with red dots on the minimap for when some dipshit fires the weapon. They don't know exactly where it's coming from unless they have an advanced UAV. Like, all they know is whether or not it's at the top floor of this building or at the bottom floor, and that's about it. Like, we see a little bitty arrow on the top of that red dot, we know it's upstairs. If we see it on the bottom, the arrow on the bottom, we literally just we literally know that they're downstairs. We don't know exactly how they're facing, what they're doing. All we know is that they're firing at somebody downstairs. But then again, there's also the suppressors that are the perfect counter towards that mini map. But I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, Activision doesn't know what a suppress, like fucking Activision and Infinity Ward do not know what a suppressor's for. It's so that you don't get seen. It's so you aren't detected. It's so you don't know where the fuck the shot come from unless you see scope glint. At the end of the day, why have suppressors if you're going to make the minimap absolutely useless? Like, why have suppressors then? Why have suppressors? Like, you guys forgot why they exist? You forgot the previous iterations where a suppressor kept you off the minimap? You forgot what a counter UAV does? Or do you just like stroking your own ego thinking you know what's best for Call of Duty players, for the casual players? I'm a casual player and I particularly love the fact that I can figure out where. I just don't know which direction they're pointing at. I don't know if I only know if they're upstairs, downstairs, or at the exact same level I am. It's just mind-numbing how inept some of these devs are. But that's just the end, the blunt of it. Drop your ego and actually fix your game. That's about all. Auf Wiedersehen.